Imagine two people. Both start investing at age 25. Both earn roughly the same salary. Both invest $500 every month. Both stay invested for 30 years. Yet one retires with hundreds of thousands of dollars more than the other. Not because they invested more, not because they worked harder, and not because they were smarter. The difference came down to a single decision. A decision most people don't even realize they're making. And here's the scary part. Millions of investors are unknowingly choosing the more expensive path right now. Today, I'm going to show you the 4 investment vehicles that control where your money goes: index funds, ETFs, mutual funds, and hedge funds. But this isn't another boring finance lesson, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Wall Street pushes certain investments, why many wealthy people invest far more simply than you think, and why one tiny fee can quietly steal years of financial freedom from your future. Let's start with a question. If investing is supposed to make people wealthy, why do most investors underperform the market? The answer begins with something surprisingly simple. When you are looking for consistent, unstoppable growth, you need structure. We call this fund the money machine. Here is exactly how it operates and how it deploys capital. Every day, millions of people feed money into it. Teachers, engineers, doctors, business owners, retirees. The machine takes that money and spreads it across thousands of investments. Stocks, bonds, real estate, entire industries, entire countries. That machine is called a fund. And whether you realize it or not, most investors never actually buy individual stocks. They buy access to one of these giant money machines. But here's where things get interesting. Not all funds are trying to accomplish the same thing. Some try to predict the future, others don't. Some trust expensive experts, others trust mathematics. Some are designed for ordinary investors. Others are built exclusively for the ultra-wealthy. And one of these approaches has quietly outperformed the others for decades. But before I reveal which one, I need to tell you a story. Because it completely changed how millions of people think about investing.
Some risks are calculated. Others are just pure madness. Get ready for the $1 million bet. Back in 2007, Warren Buffett made a $1 million bet, not on a stock, not in a company, on an idea. His claim was simple. A boring S&P 500 index fund would outperform a collection of elite hedge funds over the next 10 years. Most people thought he was crazy. After all, how could a simple automated fund beat teams of analysts, people with MBAs, people with Bloomberg terminals, people whose entire careers revolve around studying markets? Surely the professionals would win. 10 years later, Buffett won. And it wasn't close. Think about that. A system requiring almost no decision-making beat some of the smartest investors in the world. Why? Because investing isn't primarily a game of intelligence. It's a game of avoiding mistakes. And that's exactly what index funds are designed to do. They don't try to predict which company will dominate the future. They simply own all of them.
Think of it like owning every horse in a race. You don't need to know which horse wins, because you already own the winner, and the loser, and every horse in between. That's the beauty of an index fund. No predictions, no market timing, no emotional decisions, just participation. And because nobody is actively trying to outsmart the market, the fees are incredibly low. Now, that sounds like a small detail, but what I'm about to show you might be the most expensive lesson most investors never learn. Every success story has its setbacks, but some cost more than others. Let's take a look at Sarah's $200,000 mistake.
At age 30, Sarah starts investing. She's smart, responsible, consistent. Every month she invests without fail. The problem? She's paying just 1% more in fees than she needs to. 1%. That's it. Nobody warned her. Nobody explained compounding. Nobody showed her the math. So she ignored it. 30 years later, she discovers something painful. That tiny 1% fee quietly consumed tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not because the fee was huge, because time magnified it. Compounding works like a snowball. But here's what most people miss. Fees compound too. Mistakes compound too. Every dollar lost to fees today is a dollar that never gets the chance to grow tomorrow. And that brings us to the investment industry's favorite product, mutual funds. Individual investors look for trends, but institutional money looks for systems. Let's look at why Wall Street loves mutual funds. Mutual funds sell a dream, and it's a dream almost every investor secretly wants to believe. The dream that somebody knows, that somewhere out there's a financial genius, someone who can consistently predict the future, someone who can beat the market, someone who can make your money grow faster than everyone else's. That's the promise. Instead of following the market, mutual funds hire professionals to actively choose investments. Their job is to outperform. Sometimes they do. Many times they don't. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Before investing, nobody knows which manager will outperform. Everyone is making a bet on hope. Hope sells. Hope fills investment accounts. Hope drives financial marketing. But hope doesn't guarantee results. Now, here's where things get surprising. Because there's one area where index funds aren't necessarily the best option, and almost nobody talks about it. Most investors only focus on the low fees and the liquidity, but they are missing the real story. This is the ETF's advantage nobody talks about. Most people think ETFs are just index funds that trade all day, but that's only part of the story. ETFs may be one of the greatest investing inventions of the last few decades. Why? Because they solve a problem most investors don't even realize exists: taxes. Imagine two investors earning identical returns. One keeps more of those returns simply because of how their investment is structured. That's the power of ETF tax efficiency. Over decades, tax savings can compound just like investment returns. ETFs also provide precision. Artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, healthcare, global markets, clean energy. Whatever you want exposure to, there's probably an ETF for it. But here's the trap, and it's a big one. Because ETFs trade like stocks, you can buy at 10:03, sell at 10:17, check prices every minute, and suddenly investing becomes entertainment. The market falls, fear appears, you sell. The market recovers, regret appears. The investment wasn't the problem, the emotions were, which is why the greatest investors aren't necessarily the smartest, they're the most disciplined. But if ETFs are designed for ordinary investors, what about the investments used by billionaires? This is where things get really interesting. When people hear about hedge funds, they imagine secret strategies, private jets, luxury offices, financial geniuses, and sometimes that's accurate. But the reality? Welcome to the billionaire illusion. Hedge funds operate in an entirely different world. They can borrow money, bet against stocks, trade currencies, use complex derivatives, make enormous macroeconomic bets. They have freedom most funds don't, which sounds incredible until you realize freedom cuts both ways. The same leverage that doubles gains can double losses. In fact, one hedge fund became so powerful and so leveraged that when it collapsed in 1998, regulators feared it could destabilize the global financial system. Think about that. Some of the smartest people in finance nearly broke the system. not because they lacked intelligence, because complexity creates new ways to fail.
And then there are the fees. Let's say you invest $1 million. Your hedge fund earns 10%. You make $100,000. Sounds great, except the manager may take 20% of those profits, plus an annual management fee. Suddenly, a huge chunk of your return disappears. Now, here's the part most people never hear. Many wealthy investors didn't become wealthy because of hedge funds. They became wealthy because they owned productive assets for a very long time. Patience built the fortune, not complexity. And that brings us to the most important lesson in this entire video. While the rest of the market screams, panics, and chases the latest trends, a select group of investors does absolutely nothing. Because in the long run, the quiet ones always win. Let's talk about the power of market discipline and why silence is your greatest asset. There's a version of investing nobody talks about. It isn't exciting, it doesn't generate headlines, it doesn't create viral social media posts. It's simply the story of the investor who stayed through crashes, stayed through recessions, stayed through pandemics, stayed through fear, stayed through uncertainty, stayed. And while everyone else searched for shortcuts, that investor quietly became wealthy. 30 years from now, nobody will care which ETF you bought on a random Tuesday morning. Nobody will remember which fund manager was trending on social media. Nobody will care about the prediction that went viral. The only thing that will matter is whether your money remains invested long enough for compounding to work. So here's the framework. Index funds are the simplest path to long-term wealth building. ETFs offer flexibility, tax efficiency, and precision. Mutual funds only make sense when a manager's skill genuinely justifies the cost. And hedge funds belong primarily in the world of ultra-high net worth investors. But for most people watching, the biggest breakthrough isn't discovering a secret investment. It's realizing there probably isn't one. The investor who wins isn't usually the smartest person in the room. It's the person who avoids distractions long enough for time to do the heavy lifting. And if you can master that one skill, you're already ahead of most investors. Comment below, which investment vehicle surprised you the most?